And we are live. Thank you for tuning in. We are currently live streaming on Rice TVx, Rice TVx 2, the sequel, and Bodhisattva Love. Make sure you subscribe to all three channels. Links will be down below. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing going. Now, as always, got to play a few quick messages from the sponsors of Rice TVx, and information will be down below in the video description for pre-search, Monarch, and BitSwap DEX.
BitSwap is the hottest new way to trade tokens. Crawling all the top decentralized exchanges, BitSwap will get you the very best price and value for your trades. BitSwap is changing the game. Try it now at bitswapdex.com.
Also, be sure to smash that like button. It helps other people to be able to see this information in the YouTube algorithm flow. We currently have 10 people watching. Normally, we have a lot more, but since I got that second strike, unfortunately, kind of got out of the YouTube algorithm favor. So if you could share this video as well, that would be greatly appreciated. Alrighty, let's go ahead and get this thing going. Gonna remove the thumbnail, and here we are. It's me, it's Stan, it's Chris and Stan, it's Rice and Stan with the newest episode of Rise and
Are you
Stan.
muted?
No, I don't think so. Can you not hear me?
I can't hear you.
I think your speakers might be too
Can you hear
low.
me?
I can hear you. Can we get a 5x5 from everybody? Make sure everybody can hear this. Let me know if everybody can hear me. If you can hear me, 5x5. So we have 17 people now.
For some reason, I cannot hear you. Oh, hold on.
What about now?
Oh, it was my. I had the top thing in the tab bar was muted.
So you didn't mute yourself. You muted. Yeah. Turn it down.
What's going on?
Turn it down just a tad bit so we don't have that echo.
Okay.
Check.
Is that good?
I don't hear it. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
As long as you can hear me, I don't hear it. Yeah, Kat says she can hear us both. Thank Kat Peterson. Appreciate it. We got some 5x5s in the house. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Batch 67, Tara Spence. Appreciate the nice comments. Yeah, we are definitely shadow banned, both of us. Stan's been taking time off, and that's kind of got him out of the algorithm favor. And then me with the total of 2 strikes and not being able to release videos for 14 days really affected things. I never believed how much it would have affected stuff, man, but it really has.
Oh, yeah.
Griff, Phoenix, Heart 111, Tara Spence again, Kat Peterson, thanks. Falcon Hoof, Irish Me, TD Freelancer, and Robert Hammock. Let's see. Trying to get the rest of the thing to update. Dude Dave's in the house, Deborah Center. Please watch Patriot Street Fighter 21 if you want to hear JFK Jr. Okay. Or maybe HFK Jr. Maybe HFK Jr.
She redid it a couple posts down, JFK Jr.
Okay. Yeah, I'll skip that. And also we got to watch. It's been a minute since, not really a minute, but it's been about a month since me and you have done something, Stan. And so let's just be extra cautious with our words that we choose to use, because I have 11 days, 12 days, 11 or 12 days before my first strike expires. After that, my channel's kind of in the clear for a minute, because right now, if I get another strike between now and then, the channel's gone. So 12 days.
You got to hold on to it for a bit.
Yeah, let's not talk about anything too crazy, or just use good better choice of words to talk about what we're going to talk about. But how's everything been with you, brother?
Good, man. Just, learning all kinds of stuff. Definitely just trying to educate myself on how this whole, world works, and how to navigate it, basically.
Did you get over your burnout phase?
No, I'm still burned out.
but you're getting back into it.
I actually been trying to do more me stuff, before we got involved in all this stuff together, way before the event. I spent a lot of time on myself, spiritually, and doing a lot of yoga and stuff like that. And then, once this event started, all that went away, and I was doing, 18, 10, 20, 30, 12, 18 hours a day on the computer all day for a year and a half, 2 years, all the way up to this point. And recently I just like, I need to unplug. I need to get back into my health. I need to get back into my myself. And so that's what I've been doing, is trying to ease back into that.
That's good.
Really find the balance.
Yeah,
I recommend it for everybody. We drive ourselves crazy.
I've kind of got there now. I mean, I'm not. I've kind of got through the burnout phase. I've had enough of a little bit of a mental break from certain things that I'm good to get back into it, and that's kind of where I'm at, is kind of slowly getting back in those positions.
I see, man. Your mohawk's getting a little long there, bro.
Yeah, I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with it. If I want to cut it back, I mean, if I cut it down, that's it. If I just keep kind of dealing with it right now, I can see what's going to happen. I mean, it's still a mohawk. It's just not as
short. Yeah.
And it's not so in your face, but it's the one funny thing that I get. Let me see if I can pull this up here real quick. Before I even,
the more you let it grow, the more you're going to look like, that Gould character.
Fool's Gould. Okay, so
I know I might be cutting this off soon too.
Really?
Yeah. We'll see.
Okay, so I was trying to pull up the image of this thing before I did a screen share, because this is what a lot of people have been saying. I know, and I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie, I really do like this comparison that I've been getting. It's with Zorg.
Oh, dang. Yeah. From the Fifth Element. No, that's it, bro. That's
so I mean, totally if I was to take this part and dye it a little bit darker, and then just comb this down flat, and then get me a little plastic piece.
October's right around the corner, brother. I mean, you could be a hit at the Halloween parties.
I could totally pull it off. I could be Zorg.
Yeah, totally.
I may rechristen myself.
Yeah, that's him. That's it, dude. I got it.
My new legal fiction. But yeah,
right.
Yeah, I'm kind of just like in that in between phase, trying to decide, because if I cut it, it's just that's it. And I haven't had it this long in quite some time, and I'm 46. Don't know how much longer I'm going to have this stuff. So,
hey, you're doing good, man. You don't look a day over 30.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it.
Doing pretty good, man. Even with all that smoking.
And there's a lot of smoking. There's definitely a lot of smoking.
The power of the cannabis, right?
It's a beautiful thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. I was trying to, while I was talking, I was trying to make sure I was getting some of this promo stuff straight, because I wanted to make sure that I was promoting the channels. I don't know if I deleted it.
Maybe you could have your beautiful lady spike it. Dead Days said spike it. Come on, Rice. Yeah, you could put just like giant spikes, like unicorn
Liberty spikes. Yeah, I mean, I can totally do it. It's totally long enough. I don't know if I want to go that harsh. I've done Liberty spikes before.
Speaking of harsh, there was that guy you were going to talk to, the cross-dresser dude. Did you never get in touch with him?
I keep putting it off. Yeah, while we're talking about it, since we're kind of like in the opening.
What was his name again? Or her name?
Hogatha.
Hogatha, okay.
Hogatha, like hog.
Hogatha, okay.
Like
interesting.
Hogatha.
Does the audience know who we're talking about? Anybody?
You're gonna get ready to, because
you're gonna show a picture of Hogartha?
Yeah. Completely. Yeah.
So, all right, you guys. So Rice is gonna do a chat with this Hogartha individual. So he's gonna actually have to dress up the part as well.
No, not at all. Not at all. But look at this. That's Hogartha.
I guess you could say that she or he is a colorful character.
Very much.
Very colorful, yeah.
Very colorful. Yeah. So I definitely need to get back in touch with Hogatha and get that set up. I totally forgot. Every once in a while, Hogatha will creep up and I'll remember, and then my brain just forces me to forget for whatever reason. And I want to encourage people too, if you're not already subscribed over at Stan's channel, Bodhisattva Love, links are going to be down below. So make sure you subscribe to his channel. And also you can check out his webpage at bodhisattva TVx.love, and the spelling is in the video description. It's right here on the screen. If you go all the way to the very, 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 very bottom, almost like going down a rabbit hole, you click on To Whom It May Concern, and it will take you to this page, which has a lot of really interesting information that you guys can check out. A lot of really cool documents.
That's kind of like the light and dark side, the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
The light side and the dark side of things.
So if you want to do some more rabbit hole exploring, I definitely encourage you to go check that out.
I've got to do stuff with it. I got to start putting my artwork. I don't know. I guess I'm mobile here. I'm not really fixed. I got to start doing my artwork. And let me show the peeps my. This is one of my favorite ones here. Is these three? Is the yantras?
Yeah, I'm trying. Let me go grab the one you did for me.
Yantra art.
You can keep talking.
There. All right. So I got these. I did these by hand. This is actually the right one. This one right here is a copy of the hand drawn one I did. That was done in pencil, and that's been put on canvas. And then this is the inner space one, because it's all in the inner of the yantra. And then this is the outer space. Yeah, I got you the outer space one.
So yeah, it's beautiful, man.
So I got to start posting those. And then spices. I got spices. Look, I got the Bodhi spice. I got Shiva and Shakti Bodhi spice. So one of them is
spice.
Yeah, so it's really good. You can put it on anything. You can put on, meat if you like meat. You can put on chicken, steak. You put on anything. It's on avocado, salad. So it's turmeric, cayenne pepper, and Himalayan salt. That would be the Shakti blend. And then the Shiva blend used to have garlic, but I was introduced to asafoetida, which is like a garlic alternative, because a lot of people don't like garlic, but it kind of gives you that garlicness. So yeah, it's got asafoetida in there, and that's the Shiva blend. So I got a Shiva and Shakti blend. So I just got labels on those.
Are you making them? Like, are you grinding up stuff?
I blend them. I don't grind the actual herbs. I get the organic herbs in bulk, and then I blend them. It's just like a certain ratio of each spice.
Very cool.
And then I've got like a 90,000 Scoville unit one, which is like a super hot version, and then a 30,000 BTU version. So, yeah. So I got to start promoting those and putting those on there, and financially supporting myself.
Nothing wrong with that, dude.
No, not at all.
Don't Hogatha that joint, my friend.
I like that.
Dead Days, like, please do not. I guarantee you, if you guys are going to want some like really good crying, laughing entertainment, it's going to be one that people should definitely check out. I need to get in touch now. I got to write a note to myself. Got to make it a reality now.
I wanted to ask you, do you still have that email for the guy that does the, I forgot his name, that does the lineage? Remember what I'm talking about? Was his name David or Steven or something like that?
It was Brad, and he got mad at me. He got mad at me about something to stop talking to me and block me on social media.
Oh, damn.
Because I didn't defend him about something that I didn't agree with him about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig up his email. I got his email somewhere in there. I was curious to start jumping down that rabbit hole. What's up, Dime Bar?
Let me see real quick. I can look at let me look on here and see if I have a message. I can search for the name Brad and see if it comes up, and I'll tell you his name.
Yeah, Dead Days. Garlic can be harmful to some people, but it makes you stink too. It can come through people's pores, but it does have some plant medicine remedy as well for people.
Looks like he blocked me, so I can't find him at all. Period. So yeah,
I think I have it. At least I know his name's Brad. I'll look for it that way.
Brad. And I think I forwarded you some information because he was pretty good with the genealogy stuff.
That's what it was, genealogy.
Some people want to get really, really opinionated to the point that, what's up, Miss AJ? Good morning to Australia, the land of Oz. I just totally distracted myself. Anyways, we've been gibbering for like 15 minutes. I know we were going to go about an hour or so. If you're cool with it, we can figure out a regular day. Or just at least, I know we talked about it last time, but now that I've gotten over that strike and I'm at where I'm at, what I'd like to do is at the very least every 2 weeks do something together.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
So whether we do it on a Monday or another,
we'll pick a day and time.
Yeah, we could try.
I got some new scheduling coming in, so yeah, let's get past this week. Obviously, you said 2 weeks, and then we'll figure out the schedule for the following videos.
Yeah, that would be cool. That'd be cool because I enjoy doing content with you, and I would like to continue like our legal fiction, law versus legal journey.
Man, the public versus private. Yeah, I've really, have you saw, I've delved into Yusuf L stuff, and
And Yusuf is really smart. Let me ask you, since you're bringing him up, because this is something that I'm kind of conflicted. I'm not quite sure. Like, I've been trying to get in touch with the dude. Apparently, he doesn't do interviews. I don't know. There's some people that are not crypto people, or some people that are not into this sovereignty area of freedom, that have wanted to reach out and talk to him and bring him on the show because the subject is interesting. One in particular, his father was a Moor, part of the Moorish nation, and he saw a lot of interesting things happen when he was growing up. And he really resonated with Yusuf. Now, that kind of goes into what I was going to say is Yusuf, because I know his name is Yusuf L, is he Moorish? Because it doesn't seem like he is, but the name is.
Well, so the L, I think he added, which means God.
Yeah, but that's a Moor thing. L and Bay, or a combination of both.
So what I gathered is, I don't know if he considers himself a Moor, but he does. That's, his friends that were Moors when he got into all this was, he's straight up gangster, man. The guy's straight out of the hood. He used to make, he said 80 grand hustling,
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of hood, but he's super intelligent too.
Oh, no, he get the hood, but that's what got him to where he is. It forced him to learn the system, and that's the beauty of it.
It was in prison that he learned the bulk of his information, and then came out and started doing what he was doing with SPC University. So he is somebody who I've been trying very much to communicate with.
I haven't sent him an email, but I'm going to try to reach out as well. I want to share with him something that I discovered that I want to keep private with you right now, because I want to check some things out. But I'm going to send you an email with some information I dug up that seems to be really cool and simple to everything we've been digging in, and it makes sense. So I want to talk to you about it private, and then eventually we'll share it out.
Okay.
But I wanted to try a lot of things out myself first.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I think one of the things I want to do is, I do want to take, since we're talking a little bit about status correction too today, I do want to start looking into the state national route, but I'm also going to do the passport thing that's on the copper moonshine
stills.
Yeah, which I'm actually going to do a video just talking about that.
Yeah, we'll talk. I've discovered a lot, and I've pulled back for the past 2 months. I've totally pulled back because I learned what I needed to learn as, I was trying to learn how this recorder stuff works in the assembly. And I've been able to have a lot of conversations with a lot of people in it. And, for me, there's a lot of holes that I see missing. I don't see immediate remedy. And as we discussed before, I don't see, the unfortunate part about it is some people, they think that they can just come here, do some paperwork, and then they're done. I'm like, no, you need to learn law. If you don't know, the only way to freedom is knowing the law, and the law doesn't apply to you, but by knowing the law, you're free from the law, because that jurisdiction is a public yet private. It's called a public government, right, but it's operating in a private capacity.
You need to learn how to make sure that you're not giving jurisdiction with the words that you're saying and things that you're doing. And you need to be able to verbally vocalize what you would have in paperwork.
Your status and standing. You need to be able to live in that capacity.
We've talked about it. It's only a part of it. Just having the paperwork's a part of it. You can't just flash your paperwork.
Because the smallest part of it. That's the smallest part of it.
The guy from the National Task Force thing. I was watching something on Instagram, and he had a cop pull him over for not having tags and all this. He has his paperwork. He's trying to get the cop notice. Cop's not listening.
They're not going to. He's going to get labeled as a sovereign citizen right off the bat. So
what happened was they were trying to pull him out of the car with using his wrist back and forth, and he was like, "I just want to give you my paperwork before I get out, and I'm letting you know that I'm not resisting. That if I get out, I'm not going to resist you. I just want you to take my paperwork." And the cop was like, "I'll take your paperwork after we've gotten you in handcuffs." And then once they got him in handcuffs, he just threw the paperwork on the seat of the car and then arrested the dude.
Yeah, that's never going to work. That's never going to work.
He is obviously a little bit more intelligent than just using the paperwork. You know, he can actually, he's like one of those people that can verbalize himself. Not saying he's got it 100% right, but he's at least taking the time, like you're saying, to be able to verbally be able to communicate these things to a judge, law enforcement officer, so that you can stand your ground. That's part of the standing aspect. Is the in the
Well,
knowledge
I've come to learn that the passport is probably the best thing, and then I do like the David Straight method of you give your passport and you give a copy of the Constitution. I have look these pocket size. You can get them on Amazon right now. They went on sale. You can save $1.44, and you can get a pocket size the same size as your passport, and you just give them that and think about it. You're giving the officer something because they want something. Then you're giving them your travel papers, which when you open the very first side, it says the Secretary of State says, please allow this individual, citizen or national to pass without hindrance. It says it by the Secretary of State. And then if you look at a passport, what I didn't even realize my whole life is when you look at a passport, you notice that it says surname above your given name.
I've never had a passport. I'm actually going to be working
okay,
on
so
that.
When you get a passport, right, because you're traveling, it's not used as for identity. Now, if anybody out there has Black's Law, I looked up identity in Black's Law. Look up the definition of identity. You can't identify a real man or woman. You can't identify a flesh and blood being because you're constantly changing, right? But an illegal person or a legal entity can be identified. So anytime you get a license or an ID, that doesn't have anything to do with you, the flesh and blood man or woman. That has to do with the legal identity or that birth certificated name, which was created by the United States, that they own, that you are utilizing out of compliance in commerce. So that name that's doing all that commerce and that you are assuming you are is out of compliance. That name is the debtor for the debt of the United States, and you get conscripted into thinking that you are that same thing. I forgot it was called iota something, which means sameness or sounds the same. And that means that you think that you're that, and they've convinced you to think that you're that first, middle, last name in whatever variations.
And you become that based off of presumption in the way that you
assumption
have
and everything's based on assumption and presumption. So
they put it out there, they trick you, you get tricked, and you go along with it.
And that's not their fault. That's our fault. So if we get out of the victim mentality and we realize, oh, wait a minute, they're just doing business. And in order to do business in commerce, I need to be in compliance.
Well, G.I. Joe. Do you remember the G.I. Joe cartoon?
G.I. Joe, I do. Snake Eyes.
Do you remember how it ended?
No, I don't.
It always had some little lesson going on at the end. And then everybody would say together, and knowing is half the battle.
Oh, yes. Listen, ladies and gentlemen of the world, whoever comes across this video, learn the law. That's your only way to freedom. That's your only way. Not a piece of paper. That's just extra stuff after the fact. But you need to learn the law and how it works. And that's the only way that you're going to be free from the law. And you can stand in your status and standing in that. And learn the Constitution, because the Constitution is their contract that they need to adhere to. Yep. So all you're doing is reminding them of the contract that was set forth to keep them in line, which they have breached. And, they have breached trust and they breached the contract. So if you know these things and you know how to utilize them, that's here, then all you got to do is just stand in that. And like Yusuf said, it's like knocking you out of your square. If they can knock you out of your square, then they win. But if you know your status and standing and they can't knock you out of your square, you're never going to lose. And until we know that on an individual basis, then that's how we'll naturally come together in an assembly, because we'll all be smart enough to be able to handle our own affairs. Now, look at it. The last two videos that I shared with the Freedom Mastermind group, Rice, David Straight lays out the good information in there, in my opinion.
Is this the newest seminars again?
Yeah, there's a 1 a.m. and a 2 a.m. And, one thing that he said, and even Yusuf said, is...
Isn't there a 1?
What's that?
Isn't there a 1 p.m.?
There's a 1 p.m. and a 2 a.m. or it's just two videos that I posted on there. Maybe we can throw them in the links in the description.
Okay.
But think about it. even Youssef mentioned this. If you go into their courts, because it is their courts, it's their jurisdiction unless you know how to invoke the constitutional Article 3, common law, under the common law, right? It's always there. You just have to know how to implement it and flip the jurisdiction on them. But you got to know what you're doing by asking questions. And they say you never want to argue in court, right? You want to ask questions. You want to be cordial, because their job is to not expose the fraud, right? That's their job, is to keep the lie going, right? That's why they're called liars or lawyers.
Right.
And all they do as attorneys is turn you over, right? They're turning you over into their jurisdiction because you're giving up your rights to be represented however they want to present you, right?
I'm going to share the guy's channel. It's Gary Norris who's got videos. And instead of sharing individual links, and I'll do a screen share here to show people what I'm talking about, because while you were talking, I was looking it up so we could show people.
And so there you go. Yeah, and those 2 videos right there. And he, David covers it pretty dang good. So he says if you go into court, you bring your jury with you. And Youssef says you can bring your own recorder, because these courts are courts of law. They're not court of record unless you invoke the court of record. So you bring your own court recorder in there.
You say it's not a court of record, but isn't there somebody like a topographer who's typing what's being
stenographer?
Said? Yeah, stenographer.
Well, good luck if you win, right? Because, it's been brought up, oh, well, how come there's no proof of all this stuff? Well, because obviously they're not going to give the fact that you won in court, or all those things are not going to be recorded, because they don't want the public to know the fraud. If the fraud got out, every attorney and judge would be hung by the next day, which that may be coming the case. And if there's any attorneys out there watching this, just know that, hey, your fraud's being exposed, and eventually the tables are going to turn. So you've got a choice.
Let me ask you real quick. I started to watch part 1, and I just want to make sure that, is there anything significantly different than what we had seen in the original ones, like about a year ago?
Yeah, I think he gets really concise into a lot of key points.
It was the Arkansas one.
Right. Yeah. Those are older. I think he's gotten really refined on his content. Okay. And it doesn't, Robert Michael had mentioned, his take on things, and I see that, and I mentioned it as well. So you could take 100 people with any bit of information, and they're all going to get interpreted differently and get themselves in trouble because they don't implement and you got personalities. I'll give you an example. 2 people that I've talked to, that have corrected their status with the assembly realm. One of them called me, and he was in Texas, and he got pulled over. And he's more of a mild, chill kind of dude. And he was able to talk his way through it, showed his credential card, and got a warning. Cop left him alone. Another guy kind of did the same process, but he's a little bit more high energy, you know what I mean? So he kind of, however he did his process and conveyed himself to the officer, he got considered a sovereign citizen, ripped out his car, and put in jail. So it all depends on your person and how you engage and what you know and what you think you know, right? And how you perform. It's all about your performance and the knowledge and wisdom that you have, because you can avoid all this if you really know the law. If you really know the law, that officer is going to know that you're going to be able to hold them accountable.
Well, not every officer knows what we're talking about. So sometimes you have to deal with the police officer and just move forward and then go deal with it.
There's the levels, right? You're right. Because look at the guy that when Nico came here and he brought a guy from up in Georgia, he showed me his video. That cop was jacked up on methamphetamines. You can see him in the video. He was sweating. He was jacked up. He was like, you know what I mean? And the guy, all he did was, say a couple words. The guy didn't like it, yanked him out of the car, put him on the ground, and threw cuffs on him. 2 weeks later, that cop got arrested for being on methamphetamine while being on duty.
Wow.
So that cop got what was coming to him. But you never know who you're going to get, But you can do the best you can with what you have. And if you're always recording and you're only showing that you're only invoking your fundamental rights and standing in those, in any front-ended jury, you're never going to get accused or arrested, or prosecuted for invoking your fundamental rights.
trying to remember this guy's name because I'd like to pull this video up. I know it's not something that's going to get me any issues with YouTube if I play like somebody's Instagram video.
I wanted to read here about the color of law. Yes, because they're not learning law. They're learning statutes, codes, ordinance, and mandates, which is corporate bylaws, which is a private. It's
just like attorneys.
Law in the private. It's private law.
Attorneys are learning case law and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's all private law.
Yeah, it's not. What the hell is this guy's name?
Private legal system, if you will, a private guild.
I feel like it starts with a J.
That's right, Falcon Hoof. You never want to plea. That just puts you in their jurisdiction.
J.
But you got to know how to, handle yourself and all these. And I transcribed. I'll share with you, Rice, what I transcribed in, one of Yusef's videos. He goes over his first time in court. He was locked up, and when he went in front of the judge, he said he was nervous. She kind of gave him a little smirk, and he said, I just grew a pair of balls, and he let it out because he's been studying. In 3 months, he would pace around his, cell, and he's like, I am the holder in due course as a third party here as on special visitation as an authorized representative for the defendant, and he says, what else? I haven't memorized the whole thing yet, but he says, I accept for value and return for value all charging instruments in this matter, and something about accept my exemptions as, adjustments and something else for this case. And he also says that I do not disagree with any charges within this case. He's not here to argue. He's just here to settle the matter. So once you know all this stuff and you know that the name is the debtor, and that's all they're coming to do is extract funds from the debtor, from the account, and you know how to be the secured party in that case, then you know what to say and you know how to navigate through it. That's basically it, because they can't have a living man in their court, a living man or living woman, because the two don't mix. You can't have a corporation talking to a living man because it doesn't work. It's a non-existent entity. It's an entity, but it's a fiction.
You can bear with me. I found that guy and found that video because I find this very interesting how this guy handled himself and what ultimately ended up occurring. I want to play part of the video. Let me know if you can hear it.
All right, now I'm getting pulled.
We can hear it. Okay. I can hear it.
The Missouri. Here, I'm gonna pull.
Fast forward a little bit.
Here, stuff.
So, I'm American national. I'm a private American national. I do not register my private property. So this is what? I'm sorry, sir. Who? Hold on. I have to give you notice. No, you don't. Yes, I do, sir. You're under arrest. Sir, I did not do anything wrong. You cannot just grab me like this. Do not have registration. I'm a private American national. Is that a crime? Under the Fifth Amendment, I have a right under the under the Fifth Amendment, I have a right to step out.
So now at this point, he's grabbed his arm and now he's grabbed his wrist. Like he's trying to pull him out of the vehicle to arrest him for not having tags and identifying himself as a private national. Anything you want to add?
Well, I would say you don't want to not have anything on your car. If he had private property possibly on the back, that might be a little different. And then he knew how to engage and express that. But to, first of all, he didn't have his doors locked and he had his windows rolled down. You always want to kind of keep that stuff up, right?
Right.
To have that layer of protection. So you want to have your doors locked and only crack the window like an inch or two, just so they can hear you. And obviously he's recording. That's a good thing. But, a lot of people, because if you don't have a tag on a car, that's suspicion of theft, right? So I would say, you could not have a tag on a car. Or if you just put a private property one and you know that you are in the private.
I don't know what's on the back. I don't think it's, blank. But, I have considered trying to get this guy on the show. I've talked to you about him before. And find out a little bit more about his story. So I'm going to go ahead and share a little bit.
I did see a video with him where he said that he was on the side of the road at a flat tire in his van, and they came out and helped him with a jack. And once they saw the private property plate on the front of the van, they packed up the jack and left because they can't do anything within the private. They can only deal within the public.
So how crazy is that? You have two officers who were going to offer to help this guy that decided not to because of his apparent status. And then now you have this officer who's just completely ignoring.
and you never know who you're going to get.
Right. Which goes into personality and knowledge of the law. So I'm going to share a little bit more of this real quick.
Sir, I'm grabbing you a notice, sir.
That's fine.
Am I being violent? No, I'm giving you a notice. You cannot just grab me out of my car like this, sir. I'm a private American national, sir. I do not contract with the government. You are violating my rights, sir. Go get your superior. Get your superior. You are not the superior, dude. I'm not doing anything wrong. Hold on. Here is a legal note. Sir, stop. What are you doing? Am I being violent? I'm not doing anything wrong. Here's a public notice.
Get out.
It's fucking crazy.
Okay, you have to take this, sir.
Get out.
You have to take this.
I'll get it as soon as you get out.
Sir, I'm not getting out until you take my public notice.
Get out.
Sir, you have to shoot me with your gun. Sir, listen, you have to take my notice first. Yes, sir.
Get out.
Here, take my notice and my identification.
Get out of your vehicle.
Okay, sir. If listen to me, sir. I'm being reasonable with you, sir. I'm not going. Listen, I'm not gonna fight you if I get out.
You are fighting.
No, I did not. Stop, sir. What are you doing? I'm not being any.
Out.
You are being violent towards me. Okay, this is my bad shoulder too.
Get out.
Okay, when I get out, I'm not going to resist, sir. Okay, I'm already putting my arms behind my back. Okay, thank you.
So he gets the cuffs on him, takes the paperwork, and then throws it on the car seat, and then takes him to the cop car.
Thanks, Mr. Police. Thanks, dude.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy. So
that's going to happen, and if especially he had his window rolled down, he didn't have his door locked, and from watching the Eddie Craig stuff, you always want to ask the questions, and that way, if you're asking the questions, then you can get them on every law that they've broken from the inception of the because it's an arrest. Once you get pulled over, they've arrested you. There was no probable cause. If you run a red light, that's a civil infraction. If you run a red light and you hit somebody or damage some property, then they have a right to do something.
What about
now?
This
it doesn't
comment?
mean you do this that everyone can see and hear you.
No, put notice in the window in writing and your land marked. I wonder if you can just have your notice kind of sitting up on your side of your window and tape it up in there too.
I don't see why not, but if you can't convey, you have the right to silence too. I mean, you can actually absolutely say nothing, and they'll hold you for 72 hours. And from what I heard, after 72 hours, they have to let you go.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. I mean, obviously the dude, he's out because he's got videos and stuff out. But I did want to reach out and find out what happened. If they just took him in a car and had a talk with him, if they charged him with anything, did they actually take him to the police station? Because
I think if you're part of that NLA, you have a group of people that'll contact them, and you can file a writ of habeas corpus. You know what I mean? Let's say I have 20 people that I know, and they have a copy of a writ of habeas corpus, and I contact them as soon as this happens, and they file that with the county clerk's office, and sometimes that writ of habeas corpus will work. If not, you can have other means to have you taken out, because he's broken all kinds of laws already from the get-go.
Right.
But that guy knows his stuff, so he might be able to hold him accountable. And I've seen some of his videos, so he's familiar with all the laws that they've broken from the inception of that arrest.
Let's see here.
AJ sent you a message?
Yeah, it was U.S. Supreme Court filing no corporate jurisdiction over the natural man.
Yeah, I seen that one floating around. Apparently, Alphonse posted that, and I look up cases when I see those things, and I could not find that quote in there at all in that case. So if you guys get these things that say that
Penhollow versus Doan's administrators,
I read the whole case 5 times last night, and I could not find that in there. Now, it may be somewhere, maybe it's in the law library, but if it's not the whole case on Justia, but every time I see one of those, I go read the case. So you guys, if you see stuff like this floating around, make sure you cross-reference the case before you go sharing the stuff, and that you can actually cross-check the quotes. A lot of cases that I've found through the Supreme Court about the right to travel, I've found and I've been able to find the actual quotes in the case. That one there I could not find.
Right. Yeah, well, that's the first I'm hearing about it. I'll definitely try to do a little research on it. If anybody else has any information or familiar with what we're talking about, I guess I could download it real quick. Share screen.
So the Justine Law case?
Well, this Finn Hollow one or whatever. Pin Hollow?
Yeah.
Pin Hollow?
Yeah, I looked at that last night. Now, one thing I was looking at is the American jurisprudence.
Mm-hmm.
On the Internet Archive, there's one that has to do with rights to use highways generally. And it says right to travel, and it says here, ordinarily, every traveler has an equal right in the highway and every part thereof, with every other traveler. The right to use public highways rests with the whole people of the state, and the public is entitled to the full and free use of all the territory embraced within a public roadway. Hence, a traveler, as such, may occupy and use any part of the public highway he or she desires, when not needed by another whose rights thereto are superior to his or her own. Then it says, a person's right to liberty to use a highway is not absolute. It may be regulated in the public interest through reasonable executed regulations. Now, what's interesting about this in the American jurisprudence is it doesn't mention anything about a license. But in the same book, it gets into motor vehicles generally and vehicles engaged in transportation for hire, where it does talk about and use the terms driver, operating, traffic, and the like.
Okay.
So, here, I'll...
Can you see what I'm screen sharing?
Hold on one second. I'm going to put in the chat this link to American jurisprudence. People can see this for themselves. Got to find out where we were. Where the hell's the live stream?
This is top comments.
I got it now. So I can't comment in here. I'm going to have to go to my channel here. I'm going to have to go to the video. Here we go.
You can send me a private
So I'm dropping
chat.
the link to. It's in the American jurisprudence link I just put in there.
Where?
In the chat.
Oh, I see it. I just highlighted it.
That's a link to the American jurisprudence.
Okay.
You can see.
So
People can read that for themselves.
This thing on the screen is what Miss AJ sent me. Is this what you've seen?
That's what I saw yesterday. Dime Bar posted that. I cross-referenced it immediately and was not able to find that quote anywhere in that. So if anybody can double-check and wants to try to double-check for that quote in that case, let me know. But I could not find it, and I read it 5 times.
Yeah.
And there was also, I put a picture in the Freedom Mastermind group of someone else who tried to find it, and they said, look, I'll give anybody $2,500 if they can find this.
You will?
No, I didn't. That's what somebody said. That was a pitch.
Like, you got $2,500 to be given away? I'm gonna come.
But apparently nobody responded.
Gonna hang out with you. We're gonna spend that $2,500.
Yeah, I know. I wish I had that kind of money to spend. What does it say there? A person is a corporation, not a man or woman. You can't be a sovereign citizen at the same time a citizen as accepted. That's correct.
Well, you can't be a sovereign citizen. That's an oxymoron. And,
yeah, you can't be a sovereign and a citizen at the same time.
Rivera
and a person, by definition, is a corporation.
Everyone has the right to travel from point A to point B. Only if you are using for commerce do you need a license, and that's what I'm comprehending. But I would say the majority of your law enforcement officers would disagree.
Well, they would, because they would tell you that in the state of blah, blah, blah,
right,
it is a
right.
driving.
I got to be like, well, look, dude,
driving is a privilege, not a right.
I'm not in the state of North Carolina. Like, I'm in the state of crazy because of you pulling me over. I'm in North Carolina, but I'm not in no state of North Carolina. Like, what kind of state is that? Like, how do people act when they're in the state of North Carolina?
Yeah, well, that's a different thing. I mean, they don't know it because they're taught. They've got actually training manuals on how to treat so-called sovereign citizens. The judges have it, and so do the officers, and they're taught this. And there's here, actually, let me share this with the group. This is a good one from the retired Judge Dale that goes over this. I've got all these links to all this stuff I've been studying.
You should start adding some of those into your webpage.
Yes, I need to. I've been delving into so much study that it's just been
something really cool, and I think I've shared
crazy.
this with you before. I'm gonna pull it up so I can.
Did I lose you? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, so this one I just posted. Do you guys hear me?
Yep.
I think I muted myself. So the one I just posted for you guys is from retired Judge Dale. Goes over the whole sovereign citizen thing. And what else do I have up here? I got so much pulled up. Carl Miller. Look into Carl Miller. There's a Carl Miller PDF that's really good that goes over, the Constitution and learning the Constitution. I'm also going to share with you guys this link to USEF's free downloads.
Cool.
And there's a plethora of links here to check out all the stuff where he learned from.
I'll include a link for this right here too, because this right here it's what is called is a quick guide to sovereign citizens. It's an administration of justice bulletin, and this is actually from some law enforcement officers here in North Carolina from 2015, where they put together information about a quick guide for sovereign citizens, telling people what to look for, law officers what to look for, buzzwords. These are some of the buzzwords: straw man, de facto government, conveyance rather than vehicle, references the UCC, IRS form 1099 OID, all the way down from affidavit of truth, which Yusuf speaks about that, traveling in a private capacity, chargeback notices, letters of mark, sovereign living soul, Title IV flag, referring to the government as a corporation, Indigenous Peoples Seat 215. So it's a lot of information, and this comes from a perspective of law enforcement. And this was something that apparently was being shown in the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill, which, if I'm not mistaken, and I may be mistaken, this may be the same university where a lot of the stuff that we had experienced over 2020 originated, which would be ironic, don't you think?
Huh.
Can you hear me?
All right, you guys, I posted the Carl. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I just posted the Carl Miller PDF as well.
Now what you've done is you've moved your camera, and you look like Rudy Giuliani's son right now.
What? All right, hold on. Let me see.
You know what I mean? Like when he did that video and he was like, all you can see is like his head.
There we go. I was like searching for links to share with everybody.
I got a stand-up desk about a month and a half ago, and I've been rearranging my studio. That's why. I wonder why there. That's weird.
Trying to refocus on you.
Yeah. So I got a stand-up desk, and I've been redoing my studio. That's why I don't have my normal background. But yesterday, that's what I was doing. I was like, guess what I'm doing? Or guess who I'm being? And I was waiting until I got up to a certain point. And I was like, I'm doing my impression of Rudy Giuliani's son.
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's a video that he made trying to defend his dad.
Uh-huh.
And he used like a phone or something to record the video. But for whatever reason, he decided to just record from like here up. And he's already short, so it just made him look really tiny in the video. That's all.
Oh, okay.
That's all. Now I got to pull up the video to show you what I'm talking about.
All right.
Rudy Giuliani, and then we got to do son. I have no clue what his name is. Yeah, here's the video. It's just hilarious, dude. I don't understand why he did this, because everybody made a joke about it. Here we are. Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's what he did for the video. It's just like, I don't understand why he did that. It doesn't make any sense, but yeah, that's what you look like for a minute, and that's what I was doing the impression of for a second.
I got you. I see. Nothing but head. I'm sorry. That could come out wrong there, but yeah, man. So how about you, man? What you been up to? What you been diving into?
Well, just getting back into looking at some of the legal fiction stuff and watching some of the Yusuf stuff, and I was going to get into the David Straight videos. I've just been doing. Last week, I had some research I had to do for some paid videos from a month ago, and got those out. And while I was in that burnout phase, I was just revisiting conversations with people that didn't involve me having to do any research. And kind of going down the crypto and economic elements, especially because right now we're in like a really pivotal time in the crypto markets because we're at the tail end of this bull run that could be going on for like another 6 to 8 weeks. So I've got to really watch things because I've got to make sure that I'm timing the markets and taking some profits this time around. Because when I got into it in 2017, didn't know what I was really doing, didn't understand the markets, the cycles, and all that. And once I get past this next 2 to 3 month period, I should be in a lot better of a position on my individual finances and stuff, which would be alleviate a lot of stress, the everyday stress with trying to earn money from the channel specifically.
Yeah, that's kind of
But I'm kind of whoring myself out with the sponsored videos. I'm not covering anything that's harmful or anything like that, but I am getting paid to do some videos to help me earn some income. And if I was in a better position financially, I really wouldn't have to go those routes. And I could.
Yeah, and you got kind of screwed with the whole 2 weeks off because that kind of screwed up your contract then, huh?
Yeah, because I had two people reach out to me that wanted me to do some videos, and right when we had come to terms with what we were going to do with the agreement, I got the strike and wasn't able to put the videos out in that time period. And I even offered a discount to have them come out later, but they were really adamant about needing them out at a certain time frame because of what they were doing with their marketing promotion. So
I see.
Wasn't much I could do, but it is what it is.
Well, if anything ever happens like again, I mean, shoot, maybe you can say, okay, can it be a stipulation to where I can do this? Let's say Pimpy's got a huge following. Say, well, what if I move you from this amount of follower, this amount of exposure to this amount of exposure, but I just go to an interview on another platform, the advertisement there, since I can't.
It's not interviews. That's the thing, though. So
it's advertisement.
Now, since we're talking about it too, like I've been talking about ideas of replacing my Patreon. And I'm going to make a video about this and try to get more feedback from people. And I was looking at doing like a website. There's some people do websites to have like a little paywall. You can charge whatever for your subscription and you can have your videos on your own website. And still there's a middleman involved in that. There's always a middleman taking a cut. And what I was thinking about doing so I can utilize the resources better and more effectively was replacing Patreon with a direct kind of underground insider club. And instead of having a platform where my videos are hosted, I would just send people out a link to the video where they can watch it. I'll probably use something like Dropbox where people can download the video and audio file. And then if they don't want to download it, I believe you can watch it through Dropbox, something to that effect. But that way, because a lot of musicians who aren't signed to major labels are doing things like that, like direct to their followers. And I figure if I could do something direct and just make it more intimate, not necessarily having a website though. So I'm kind of toying around with the idea and seeing what people think. Because I mean, it's like I think Patreon is getting like somewhere between 15 to 20%, if not higher, in what they're taking. And then if I did a video on demand, they're going to charge a monthly fee plus X amount per every credit card transaction processed. So if there was ways that I could alleviate that.
I've been really trying to wrap my head around this whole public-private thing that we're in here. And if we start consciously moving more towards our private realm, and working together towards that, like how do we trade? Okay, is it gold and silver? Is it crypto? Is it, what I have, my services? I grow cucumbers and you grow tomatoes. You know what I mean? How do we really start moving into this private realm where we're not messing and having to ask permission and, contracts, contract ourselves into this whole system here that it's legal. It's just we have to know how we're playing in the game, what jurisdiction that we're living in, and really live in that private capacity. And as communities and in countries and cities and towns, how we as the community start doing that. Because, if you do the PMAs, you start opening your private membership associations, then, hey, they can do nothing with your, they can't tell you to do anything with anything. And if your members agree to the contract and you're all on the same page, it's like, hey, this is it. We're in our private capacity here. We're in our own little bubble.
And, I would say that there's something to that privacy element. Let me find this so I can, because I'm pretty sure this place would be considered a private organization or private restaurant.
Mm-hmm. Your audio got weird.
Is it good now?
Yeah, I think you're good now.
Okay.
Yeah, so if we all start really considering to move into that capacity and, even taking, eventually going to what we're doing here with, you and your videos to say, hey, okay, look, we're pretty much at a point where we've got people that are awake and people that aren't. I mean, we pretty much have that distinction. We got people that are slowly waking up, but if we do business with each other, what will happen?
This place is closed now.
What was it?
Hold on, before I'm talking about it. Because there was a website and everything, and it was trippy. And now they're trying to say that this is a hoax and this is bullshit because it was real. Hold on.
What was the name of it?
You'll see here in a second.
All right. You can screen share it.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah, if we can consciously start moving into that realm, then that just moves us in, legally and lawfully into the right space. Trying to see what you're looking at here. Oh, the Cannibal Club.
Yeah, now they're trying to say that it wasn't real. It's a hoax, and now it's showing on YouTube on Google that it's permanently closed now. Maybe the effects of 2020 had its effects on human meat. I don't know, but this place was a restaurant that served human. It was a real deal. And how can you lawfully legally serve human? Which I don't think you can do. So I think it would have to be a private membership association, and people would have to agree that they want to eat human.
Well, was that California? I guess you would. Well, I guess if it's private, then there is no registration of the corporation or of that entity because it's private.
But can you advertise your location on Google?
Well, you could probably advertise anything you want on Google and any of those platforms because they're all complicit with that kind of stuff. That somebody complains. I don't know if anybody in California that's ever been there or seen it. That would be the first question.
Ever had anything to eat there?
Ever get invited to go to a nice Friday night dinner with some friends and family at the Cannibal restaurant?
I mean, there was an insect restaurant in DC that served various insects, mealworm burgers and things like that, but.
Chocolate covered ants and beetles and stuff like that.
The Cannibal Club is taken into another extreme, and I'm like, how the hell can this exist? Because it seems like it would be against the law, but I don't know.
I mean, as it said, if it's private, if it was private, you could look it up. I mean, a little due diligence would be able to see if it was incorporated, if it wasn't. What it all. I mean, they're trying to normalize that whole thing. They have a TV series on that. I forgot what it was called. But I remember there was
human flesh.
Yeah, it was like, they got these, B-rated, they're chopping up body parts in a blender and drinking it, some TV series or whatever. I can't remember what it was called.
Right.
But it was basically about, cannibalism and whatnot. I mean, just like you got to see TV series Lucifer and all these other things that they put on the television to entrap the minds of the people.
We're at that hour mark, so I guess we can go ahead and start wrapping things up, and we'll shoot for 2 weeks. We got a meeting tonight. We're gonna talk a little bit more about this other thing you're talking about. So I want people, if you're not already subscribed to your YouTube channel, to make sure they're subscribed over at Bodhisattva Love, and the link's down below. And if you're not subscribed to my channel, Rice TVx, make sure you're subscribed. And if you are subscribed, I'd encourage you to subscribe to Rice TVx2, my backup channel, and follow us both on Odyssey and Library. Actually, I have 100% of my videos now on Odyssey and Library because I went through and deleted like 65% of my content on my YouTube channel so that I wouldn't have any more
Strikes and all
issues.
that.
But yeah, because all that stuff that came, I went through and did a video about it, but the majority of the videos were over a year old. One of the videos was like in my first 3 months of doing my channel. And I'm thinking there should be some sort of time limit. Once you're allowing a video on the platform for X amount of time, it should be immune to any of your algorithm BS, in my opinion. But I don't know YouTube, so who the hell am I?
Yeah.
Thank you, YouTube, for letting me have my channel. Really
yeah, I know, man. It sucks.
Thank you for making me self-censor myself, YouTube. I really appreciate it. The American Nightmare. More power to you.
The United States, the land of the fee and the home of the slave. That's what I call it.
The land of the fees and the home
land
of the
fees. Yeah. Land of the fees and the home of the slaves. Well, that's
the
United States, not the United States of America, unincorporated, right?
Word up.
Shannon LaGrosse said, yep. Shannon LaGrosse said first steps would be removing ourselves from corporate structure piece by piece. No banks, grow your own food.
No insurance licenses,
no insurance licenses.
Eventually, no corporate job.
Well, think about it. The whole structure, even the hospitals, the ambulances, the fire departments, those are all our benefits that we ask for. So if we start, moving into private, you got guys that are firefighters, let's move into a whole private fire department, a whole new private, starting taking it out of this because it's a corporate fiction. It's private companies acting as a government, and we have the right to rebuild. So if we can consciously make that move, that's what we need to start doing. And it just separates us and we bring back to the community and supporting ourselves and self-governing. Well, so yeah, all that, Shannon, and a lot more. And, there's things that are happening. There's even people that open PMA banking. So you go to a private membership banking, obviously it's got a PMA and trust.
That's something we're working on now. I'll talk with you about that a little bit more too.
Yeah, there's already one out there apparently. And I'm sure a lot more will help, but this is what we just need to start doing.
Cool. Well, again, we'll try to shoot for another 2 weeks. I encourage people to make sure they're checking out your channel. Stan, I'm not going to talk to you right now. What we'll do is if you're cool with it, we can get together like 10 minutes earlier than we're scheduled for that meeting.
Sounds good.
And that way I can grab something to eat and we can kind of go from there. But appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to all of our channels. Smash that like button wherever you're watching this. And I want to go ahead and play my long intro that I didn't play at the very beginning, promoting all the things for Rice TVx. I didn't want to be selfish since we're doing this on both channels, but I love you, brother. And we'll talk soon.
Love you too, brother.
Much love.
Peace, everybody.
If this just happens to be your first time ever watching any of my videos, I do encourage you to check out and explore my channel. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with my videos as they come out. Also, due to all the recent censorship, make sure you subscribe to my backup channel, Rice TVx 2, the sequel. And I've also recently deleted more than half of my videos on my main YouTube channel, which means you can find 100% of my content plus exclusive videos over on Odyssey and Library. If you haven't already, be sure to visit ricecrypto.crypto and sign up for the mailing list so that you never miss an update or new Rice TVx content. You can also find all my social media links as well as merchandise that is coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel directly, consider joining my Patreon, where I have 3 different levels of membership, or if you'd like to send a direct contribution or tip, I have my Cash App information, PayPal, and my CoinTree link for cryptocurrency addresses listed below in the video description. Take advantage of my partnership with Money Metals Exchange. Get your free ½ ounce of silver. All you need to do is be a first-time buyer, visit moneymetals.com, purchase a minimum of $100, and use the promo code RICE. You get that free ½ ounce of silver, and it's another way to support the channel.